because I just roasted some of you guys, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't actually roast you guys. I probably think I did, but it wasn't really that cool. Okay, we are getting towards the end of the day. And what that means is that we are getting towards Adoration Mass and you guys going home, which is totally understandably, like, very, very exciting. We're getting ready to go back, drive back to Steubenville, go back to school, go back to our home. So that means that here in a couple hours, when you walk out of those doors, you have pretty much two choices. Choice number one is to listen to the talks today, to the conversation, to the games, to the silliness, and then to walk out of the door and all of it stays behind, which is totally understandable. Or choice number two, you can experience everything today, and then you can walk out of the doors and decide that you're actually going to take something away from it. We at Kinetic want to give you guys something practical, and so I'll explain it a little later, but if I could have a couple Kinetic team members stand and start to get the materials for the Letters Challenge. That's paper, envelope, pen. Some of it might be up here. But I want to go ahead and give you guys a head start on that. Okay, we are going to talk about the end of the story, which is what happens after Cleopas meets Jesus. I am going to open up. Oh, I didn't have it marked. You would think if I'm giving a talk on it, I would probably mark it. Okay. Here. All right. Basically, the last time that we left the story, Cleopas had looked at his friend and said, "Were not our hearts burning within us?" And then at the very end, it says, "So they set out at once and returned to Jerusalem, where they found gathered together the 11, and those with them who were saying, 'The Lord has truly been raised and has appeared to Simon.' Then the two recounted what had taken place on the way, and how he was made known to them in the breaking of the bread." That's it. That's the end of the story. That's the last two verses, which is crazy because it's like, okay, well, we dedicate so much time to this story today, and we have probably like the middle talk, Emmy's talk, be like 90% of the story. So, like, why do we need to know this? Something is really cool about this to me. It says they set out at once. Another translation says immediately. There was no hesitation in them going back to Jerusalem and sharing the encounter that had just occurred. Guys, I know, okay, I'm gonna get kind of into it. I can be a little energetic. I know that we are tired and we just ate. I'm going to ask you to, at least for this little bit, because this is going to be the last part that one of us is talking at you, I'm going to ask you to at least lock in for this little bit. The whole point of every talk today of this story is not to be like, look, isn't this cool? And like, we up here at Kinetic, we have it figured out, and now you guys got to figure it out. It's to share with you guys that we are actively trying to figure it out and trying to live it out every single day, and we desire that for you. Here's the reality. I keep talking about two choices. There's a choice when it comes to the retreat today, but there's also two choices in life. I firmly believe that. At the end of the day, every decision you make boils down to these two decisions. No, one decision, to these two choices. Jesus or no. Like, it's really that simple. Everything boils down to that. Jesus or no. Guys, because it's not just like Cleopas was like this special dude 2,000 years ago, and now we just got to hope for the same thing to happen to us. You guys are equally as chosen individually as Cleopas was, as any of us here. Not as like a blanket, like, oh, like everyone is chosen. You see, isn't that so cute? Like actually individually, like actually every single person individually, your entire life. God specifically wants you. But I love the way Emmy put it in her talk, that God does not force his way into your heart. When Cleopas and the other disciple are walking along the path, he doesn't break into their home. They say, "Jesus, please stay with us," and he does. It's just like it's the same thing. You have the choice to invite him in, or you have the choice to not. And nobody's going to force you. None of us can force you to make that decision. Parents can't force you to make that decision. Teachers can't force you to make that decision. That's because God designed it that way, by the way. That he wants to be chosen by you, just like how he chose you. He just wants that back. So he's knocking on the door of your heart right now, and you can choose to kick him out, or you can choose to let him in. If we're going to be like Cleopas, if we're going to choose the second option, we're going to allow him to enter in. It's not like we make that one decision. Oh, I can't snap. There we go. It's not like we make that one decision, and then it's like now everything is fine. Everything is fantastic and great, and we never have anything to worry about ever again. It's just like a normal human relationship, right? Like, just think about one of your friends. Or I'll think about one of my friends. James, hey man, 3 years ago was 2023. I had no idea who this guy was. I had no idea who he was. I had never spoken to him. I didn't know he existed. So if James and I had never spoken, if we had never shared a conversation, and then we have one conversation and it's a little bit awkward, it's probably because, well, we're strangers. Right? I didn't know him. So I'm not going to go up and just immediately feel perfectly comfortable. Oh, now you're coming closer. It works with the analogy. It's the exact same thing with God. Now, James and I became friends a couple years ago, and the more we talk, the closer you become with that person, right? If James and I go weeks without talking, we're probably not going to get closer in that time. Guys, Jesus desires that relationship with you, except the difference with this one is that it's actually more personal and more close and more intimate than any relationship you can think of. But if we try to pray one time and we feel a little uncomfortable, yeah, that's because he's a stranger. That's because we don't know him, right? So yeah, it's going to feel a little uncomfortable. It's going to feel a little awkward. But the more you converse with him, the more comfortable it becomes. You get closer, just like you do with anybody else. It's not that complicated. But the decision to do that, the decision to pray, can seem like an overwhelming one to make. It can seem like a difficult one to make. Especially when nobody's forcing you to do it. Nobody's making you. But when you think about the fact that the God of the universe, the one who made every star ever, the one who made every person to ever exist from all of eternity, the one who is outside time and space, knows your name, and not just that, he actually knows the number of hairs on your head. He knows you better than you know yourself. When you think about that, it's like, well, saying yes to him is the actually least we could do. I don't know if any of you guys have experienced this. I've experienced it before where I've kind of had this fear of like a lack of worthiness. And Emmy was talking about this a little bit. Just a lack of, well, okay, he desires this relationship with me. This is what I'm being told, but do I deserve it? Look at these sins that I've committed. Look at these things that I've done. I actually don't deserve it. So this applies to other people. At the end of the day, there's actually hiding nothing from God. There's nothing that you can hide from God. He knows everything. He knows the worst things that you've done, the worst parts about you, and the best of it, and he still chooses you. That's how much it doesn't matter to him. It's not what you've done, it's who you are. Because who you are is a son of God, is a daughter of God. It's not anything else. That encounter that Cleopas had, he wants it for you. Don't mind me, I'm going to sip my water really quickly. I thought that was kind of funny, but it was dead silent. That's fine. So this acceptance, this Jesus coming into your heart, like, okay, I'm gonna pray every day. Practically, what does that look like? I think prayer can look like a lot of different things, but it's not complicated. I think we overcomplicate it. People are like, oh, we need a course on prayer. We need to sit down and it's like it's conversation. It's spiritual conversation. In fact, you could argue it's actually easier than conversation because you don't have to be like in the physical presence or on the phone. You can just do it at any point. Jesus is going to be here physically present in the Eucharist, but you could also do it at any point. So it's actually easier than normal conversation. It's not complicated. Sometimes our mind can get wandering. Kedon has been a big journaling guy before. I've been really into that. That helps keep me concentrated. Praying with the Word of God, which is living and effective, can help kind of keep you concentrated. Practically, it can look like a lot of different things, but nobody's going to tell you how to talk to your best friend. What I am going to say is that you need to. That you absolutely need to. Like this is not like, oh, it's a good thing to pray. It's like, no, this is a necessity. This is an obligation. There's no question about it. It's just like, are we going to follow through with that? I have up here mission, which can seem a little random because I'm just talking about like prayer life, starting to prayer life, what that looks like. But it actually ties directly into this. The reason is everybody here is called to have a personal prayer life and a relationship with Jesus. We've covered that. But not just that. They're called to do exactly what Cleopas did, which is to set out and go back immediately. Cleopas got so excited. He said, our hearts are burning within us. I got to leave, and I got to tell everybody about it. They were walking on the road to Emmaus. They were leaving Jerusalem. They were walking away from what had just happened. But then, because of what occurs on that road, he turns around and he goes back. Even in the midst of all the danger and the fear. Because it doesn't matter. He's so excited. It doesn't matter. I think we can have in our heads sometimes that like doing that or the word mission or the idea of talking about Jesus is for those who maybe know what they're doing more, those who are older, those who are wiser, those who are into the Catholic thing. But if I'm not really into the Catholic thing, I think that's not really for me. That's not true. That's a lie. It's a lie. It's silly, and we convince ourselves of it all the time. I've done it too. You are called to go on mission right now. That doesn't mean fly to a third world country. It means that your relationship with Jesus should be reflected in the way you treat other people and the way you speak about other people. But not just that, not just in your actions, also by talking about Jesus. He is more real than anything else. If he's the most real thing, having casual conversation about Jesus is not weird. I think we get in our head that that's like the weird thing. Like there are a lot more normal things to talk about. That's actually the most normal thing to talk about is Jesus. You could argue that anything else is weird. This is a lot easier said than done. I get that. It's a lot easier for me to come up here and get energetic and bounce around and talk loud and be encouraging than to go home and to actually do it. That's because that is your choice at that point. That's because that's entirely up to you. And when you're not in community, when you're not hearing this all the time, what decisions are you going to make? Well, there's somebody who wants to help you. Go home today and pray for a couple minutes for the strength to start praying every day. Not complicated. You want to pray every day, but you're struggling. God, help me pray every day. It's not like it'll fix it like magic, but oh my gosh, the grace will be nice. Like for real. I'm not joking, guys. Just ask. Just talk to him. What's the harm? What's it going to hurt? What's it going to do? What time is it? I'm getting distracted. Oh, goodness. Man, this is so cool. What Cleopas experienced is so cool. And the same thing is supposed to happen to me and you. I want that for you. Like, I want you to experience that. It's fun. That's another thing. The church is not supposed to be boring. Religion is not supposed to be boring. This Jesus thing is not supposed to be the boring thing. It's supposed to be exciting. adventurous, because you bring Jesus into everything. It's fun. But if we treat it as the boring thing, the thing to be left on the shelf, and maybe occasionally we look at it when we have to, then we're not going to have any fun with it. You know what I mean? It's a mind game, bro. It's about perspective. Shift your perspective. If it's a boring thing, shift your perspective. Your relationship with Jesus is your own. So make it the fun thing. Your relationship with Jesus is your relationship. It's nobody else's. Mission, dude. Oh my gosh. It's awesome. You guys hear that? Obviously. What we want to do at Kinetic is we don't just want to be like, okay, bye, and then like nothing ever happens, right? Like we don't give you anything. It's hard for us as missionaries to come in here for a day to get to know you, and then to leave, and we don't see any of the fruit of that, right? So kind of a smaller way to do it. It's not the same as a sticking around, right? But a smaller way to do it is something that we call the Letters Challenge. What we are going to ask you to do, nobody is going to be forced to do this. Number one, nobody has to do this. There's also very little instruction as to what all to do, because this is your relationship, and we're not ones to tell you exactly how it looks, but it's your relationship. So what we're going to do is we're going to pass out pieces of paper and a little envelope or envelopes. And you are going to, if you so desire, write a letter to yourself in 2 weeks, a letter to yourself in 2 months, and a letter to God. What we ask is that immediately after today, we'll keep this on the board, that you mark in your calendar these times to remind yourself. Because only you know, so sorry to clarify, during adoration is when you're going to be able to write it. To clarify, only you know what all is going on in your heart right now. So only you know what exactly is supposed to be in here. But whatever is going on in your heart right now, I think it's good to, when you have stuff circling in your heart, in your head, it's good to go ahead and write that down and then revisit it. So that when you go back, when you go home, when it's been a couple weeks, when it's been a couple months, when it's been a year, you can look back on whatever is happening in this experience today, whether it's very little, whether it's a lot, and be moved by it to some degree. You know what I mean? The idea is that the letter to God you reread every time you read one of the letters. Are we clear on that? Okay. I just want to share one last thing. I know I'm talking a lot up here, and it's a long afternoon. But we're going to play another game. Don't worry. We have to decide a winner. Like, what are we doing? I want to share a story really quickly that I actually had no plan to share until this very minute, just because I feel like that's a movement of my heart, movement of the Holy Spirit. Guys, it can be such an easy tendency to go into prayer thinking that we have to act a certain way, or we have to look a certain way in order for God to listen to us, in order for God to love us. That's not true. God knows everything, right? Don't pretend. Like, don't make believe. This took me a long time to realize. I started a YouTube channel when I was 11. I called it Kid Catholic. I would release a different video every single week. It gained like some traction to me going and giving talks certain places. As this was happening, there were hills and valleys, but there were some moments in this experience where I wasn't actively living the faith. I wasn't praying. I was living dead in sin. Slowly, through senior year of high school, junior year of high school, and into freshman year of college, my heart became flesh. My heart the stone was removed, and I just loved life more. I loved God more. I was starting to get a little more into it, but there were still some wounds that I hadn't visited yet. And I was trying to kind of pray the way, I don't know. My prayer was real. My prayer was very real. It wasn't like my prayer was fake, but at the same time, there were just some subconscious things I was trying to refrain from showing all the way, you know what I mean? And then I went through, what was it? It was a year and several months ago, about a year and a half ago, actually. A year and a half ago, I went through a breakup that was, I was frustrated, bro. I was upset. And I was upset that God allowed me to like enter into a relationship that then just ended, right? That then wasn't worth anything in the end. So I was super mad. I was super upset. And I remember praying in this upsetness, and there was part of me that was trying to hold it back. There was part of me that was trying to hold it in. Oh my gosh, what was I doing? That just doesn't work. What ended up happening is, for maybe the first time in my life, I let it all out. I had a crucifix in my dorm room. I looked at the crucifix and I screamed in frustration, in anger, in just where I was at. It was the most brutally honest that I have been with God, because I was so mad at just the things that were in my life. That was one of the most healing things ever. Because I was honest. Because I was real. I had that feeling inside of me anyway. So what was I doing trying to hold it in? To be polite? God doesn't want your politeness. He wants you. He just wants you. In whatever that looks like, he wants you. Who am I to say no to giving it to him? The freaking God of the universe? Are we serious? Oh, that was high. That was high pitch. He died on a cross. Like, are we joking? And I'm going to sit here and say, no, I'm not going to give myself all of you, or I'm not going to give all of myself to you? I was real, I was honest, and that was a healing experience. That moment, I realized later on, was actually necessary for me, because that taught me honesty. And it's not like I'm like, oh, I experienced some frustration a year and a half ago, and now I'm always happy all the time, and so I don't have to worry about that, and you guys can get here too. No, dude, I experience frustrations all the time. I experience anger, I experience sadness. Everybody who's still in love with Jesus does. The difference is, I always have someone to talk to about it. I always have a best friend there for me, even when I'm frustrated with him. That's the difference, and oh my gosh, let me tell you, it's way better. It's way better than trying to do it alone. So I want that for you. Like, that's why the Kinetic team is here. We just want that for you, because it's true, because it's accurate. Cleopas and his disciples, when they saw Jesus on the road to Emmaus, did not say, oh, no, everything's fine. Don't even worry. They were in a moment of fear, and so they shared that. And God listened to them. He'll listen to you too. He will. I guarantee it. I know it. So, I know I'm saying a lot right now. I lost track of time. But, again, if I could boil this down, this whole talk, down into one word, if you don't remember anything, it's pray. Every day. Oh my gosh, it's life-changing. It changes everything. Everything. Cool. Amen? Awesome. That was Father Dave of me, wasn't it? All right. What we are going to do now is we are going to, number one, stand up. Everybody stand up.